Hi, guys. Good evening. This is Terry, and I'm here tonight with my very first segment of my Pillowtalk Confessions here. It's Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, um, September the 4th, 2019, and I will be 34 years old next month. And I do have a little uh, side note. To say that I am engaged to somebody. He did propose 2 weeks ago, and this is the first time in my life that someone has actually asked them to marry me. So it's really, really sad to say, but yes, this actually is the very, very first time in my life that a man has asked to have my hand in marriage. So it's really, really sad in my late 30s and going on into my 40s that I have never been asked to have a hand in marriage from somebody. Um, Even people that have special needs, even people that are incapacitated in a vegetative state, even people in wheelchairs, even people that have been to wars have been in relationships with their loved ones, and they've been in these strong relationships and had marriages and kids, a support system, and from even as a young kids, people are exposed to each other, um, and as childhood sweethearts. And, you know, um, that's just how it is. But this is actually the very, very first time in my life that someone has actually proposed to me and have actually asked them to have my hand in marriage. So, in a relationship, it's mainly 50-50. It's not really 70-30 or 80-20 or 90-10. It's always, always, always 50-50. And it may not be financially 50-50, but someone is always giving their all, and someone's always giving their all. And usually, most of the time, even in society, even on the streets, even a school system, even in prison, even in the military, even in the medical field, people always want out of you what they can get out of you. And when they get out of you what they've got, they're done with you, and you have to move on with your life or whatever. But it is what it is, and that's how life is. I've dated pretty much doctors and lawyers and city councilmen and city workers and former military vets and very, very successful, very healthy men, very strong men, very muscular and very tall and very, very, very attractive men. I have not really dated someone that is I've never really dated younger than myself. I've always pretty much dated above my type. My type has usually always been early 40s, late 40s. I've been that way all my life since I've been 13 years old, 14, 15, 16 years old. I've been that way all my life, except for my high school sweetheart, who was a year older than me, and he joined the Air Force and married his bride. They're about the same age, but for me, I have really always dated older men. Even the guy I had lost my virginity to, he was older than me, but I've always been that way all my life. And my cousins growing up, my second cousins in Texas, they thought that something was wrong with me because I love older men. But that's just how I am. I've always loved older men. I've never really settled for it. I've never really dated somebody younger than myself. And if I have dated someone the same age or younger than myself, the relationship has never lasted more than 2 weeks. Seriously. Seriously. It hasn't really lasted more than 24 hours. Seriously, 24 hours and with this little boy, and that was it. So I've really pretty much been that way all my life, and actually have somebody to, I mean, I understand a man is a man, a woman is a woman. People are busy, people have to work, people are successful, they need time to relax and do what they want to do in life. But, but, you know, actually just, it is what it is, um, I am happy right now, but actually having someone to ask for my hand in marriage is really Nice. I've actually wanted to be a little bit more grateful for the situation. I've actually wanted to be a little bit more happier, but I should be happier. But again, you guys know my struggle. You know what I've been going through, city to city, shelter to shelter, job to job, car to car. You know, in and out, this and that and that. You know, this whole year, 2019, has pretty much giving me a reality check. Like, seriously, like, okay, I need to wake up. If something's wrong, I need to do something about it. If I've done all I can about it, move on and keep moving on until I find where I need to be and stop settling for less than I want. And you know what? That is a situation that I should just not settle. But right now, it's getting a little bit old, and it's going to be a cold, cold, hard winter. The forecast this winter, I heard in 2019 is going to be very long and a very cold, hard winter, and especially on the East Coast. And I have family down south. I have family in California, I have family in Florida, and I have family in Chicago, friends and family, associates, business associates, and you know, Chicago's a hard winter. DC is a very hard winter. Memphis is a hard winter too, but I just have to prepare myself and layer and pretty much do what I can. So it's really sad to say that I've never been asked. No one has ever asked to have my hand in marriage. It's pretty much always been an arrangement, and that was it. I mean, it's really sad to say, but I've always pretty much settled for an arrangements all my life, with no ring in mind, no goal in mind, just pretty much arrangements. And there's nothing really political about it. There's nothing really there's nothing to say, oh, that's conservative and this is Christian and that's liberal and this is conservative and that's pro life and this is pro life. There's really nothing political to say about it. I mean, it is what it is. Whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, Muslim, Christian, black, white, whatever, gay, straight, male, female, it is what it is. It's life, and you have to settle with life. You have to see how are my needs going to be met. I can meet my own needs, and I can have somebody help me at the same time. And for me, I've been always been a very, very much independent woman all my life. I've always worked. I've either worked, helped out my father with his business or in his home business that he had for 10, 15 years, or I've been working part-time. I've been working since I was in eighth grade in middle school. Seriously, I've been working since I was in eighth grade in middle school. My first job actually was in seventh grade in middle school. Working on the weekends at a haunted house or working in the weekends, getting a little stipend check from the Boys and Girls Club program. So I've always been working since middle school, not high school, not 16 years old. I've always been working, and even in my father's business, Pounds Electronics in Texas. I started helping out my dad when I was eight years old. 8 years old in his home business, repairing TVs and computer electronics and organizing and being a secretary for my dad's business at 8 years old. I've had my first job at 8 years old with my dad at Pounds Electronics. So at 8 years old. So I've always been working all of my life. So work is really nothing new to me. I've never been a homebody. Um, I've never been a homebody. And I, actually have somebody to uh, propose to me. And I mean, yeah, wow, yeah, wow, 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 it is what it is. But wow, this and wow, that. And yeah, it is what it is. But, actually getting to my late 30s and my early 40s, this is sad. It is really sad, actually having to settle down so late in my life. It is really, really, really sad having to lose everything in my life and pretty much to gain nothing in return. Seriously, that's how low it is to lose everything you have in life and pretty much to gain nothing in return. There's no return out of this. There's no return out of this. It's just pretty much life teaching you, okay, what needs to be done and what's the things you need to do to pretty much get it done. So the basic things out of life are food, shelter, and water. Pretty much that's it. Food, shelter, and water. That's it. And then after that, relationships and social structures, social status, and 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 job and security, and sex and well-being and stuff like that. That falls into order. But pretty much the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and pretty much this, Karl Marx and everything, psychology and sociology pretty much tells you the basic needs of any society, anywhere you go in the world, any religion, any environment, in the Middle East, in Asia, in Europe, in Russia, and South America, and London, and Scotland, and Venezuela, and Chile, and Argentina, and wherever you go in the world, in Mexico, in Canada. You have your basic needs that need to be met: food, shelter, and water. Food, shelter, and water. And a lot of women in today's society, a lot of men and women, with their partners, male or female partners, are having to have very successful backgrounds. They have master's degrees, they have doctorate degrees, they have all this background experience, but they can't find a job, and they can't survive. They can't live on their education. They can't live on their background. They can't live with 5 degrees. They can't live on that because society is really, really harsh today. The economy is really bad. It's low. And people are having to live in homeless shelters with master's degrees. People are having to live on the street with doctorate degrees, live in tents because they lost all their houses. They don't have any family support or anything. They don't have any kind of assistance. Military vets with all this combat experience, all this war experience, all this military commendation, the president's, all these medals, everything, all these awards, and the people, they come back to the states, they come back home, and they can't survive. They can't survive. And so, what are their goals? Their goals are to live, to make a living for my family, to have a shelter, a roof over my head for my family. But I can't do that because I can't get a job because today's economy is so harsh. And so pretty much people, you want to move on up. And, that's just how it is. Today's society is really harsh. Even doctors and lawyers and city councilmen and people and union workers that have been on the force on the job for 20, 30 years, they're being fired, they're being let go because the economy is weak. It's so weak. And so people are just having to scrape by, and to settle down, is to settle just to get their basic needs met. And that's how it is with society. But for me, actually having somebody to actually, it is what it is. It's life. A person, is busy. I understand people are busy. People have lives. But um, actually, nobody in my life has actually ever asked for my hand in marriage with them. Even if it was my baby's father, or even if it was my high school sweetheart, or even if it was a church member, no one in my life has asked them to marry me. It's really that sad. It is really, really, really that sad. It is really that sad. But I'm happy, and I'm happy to know that I may be very stupid and dumb in a lot of things in my life, but I'm very happy. So good news. Anyway, good news about that. So life does go on, and it is the first of the month. You have to pay bills. Rent's due. Phone bills are due. Loans are due. Car notes due. Insurance is due. Homeowners insurance is due. The mortgage is due. Tickets are due. So it is the first of the month, and you have to do what you have to do. So I got a lot of things. I'm still trying to re-enlist in the military back, get in the army back again. I've just lost 80 pounds. I was 275, 280 in November this past year. And going on September, I'm now 195, 196, which is really good. So I'm very happy about that. Going for a weigh-in tomorrow with my recruiter and talking to her about what else she needs. Also with me, helping me get an ID because again, I lost it. And here in the East Coast, it's very harder to get a license because there's so much more security issues that people have to be worried about. So, I mean, it's the same wherever you go, but whatever. So, that's my good news I have to share with you guys. Just again, please keep me in your thoughts and your prayers. It's still September. It's 3 more months of the year is over till 2020. We have a new president. New president. I declare and agree that in Jesus' name next year. But um, I'm still struggling with a lot of issues. The street pretty much follows you with wherever you go. And I was in this relationship with this man in Chicago for going on 5 6 years, and it was an arrangement. It was it was a relationship. It was a relationship because I haven't not been able to knock him off, not get rid of him. I mean, it's really that sad, but I have not been able to get rid of this man out of my life. I mean, and just stop talking. Just like, hi, how you doing? What's going on? How's your life been? And then I actually see this person on the street in DC. It's like, oh, okay, I still can't knock you off. So, um, but actually sharing your life with somebody and having emotions and physical contact and the sexual contact, the sexual energy and the emotional power, even if you're special needs, even if you're incapacitated in a wheelchair, even if you're a military vet, with missing, part of your body, you still need you still need that love, that emotion you have with people. You still need to be that emotion that you need to meet with somebody. You still have that somebody. Everybody has to have love. Even little kids in preschool need love. They have little girlfriends in preschool, so everybody needs love. And it's sad to say, again, I've never really dated boys younger than myself. If it was only like 24 hours. Seriously, I've always dated men at least 8, 10 years older than me all my life since I was 16, 13, going on 16 years old. I've always dated men pretty much 10 years older than me all my life, all my life, all my life, all my life. Um, and that's just pretty much how I like it. My cousins thought it was strange to me because I was always dating these older men, but for me, I just thought they're much more secure. They're much more professional. I don't have to deal with a lot of maturity issues. I don't have to deal with a lot of issues with, finances and not having a job and, going from place to place and all these insecurity issues that you face with a lot of these younger boys who call themselves men. So a lot of the issues right now is these boys on the street calling themselves men when they don't have a job, they don't have a place to sleep, they're still living with their mama, okay, and they have their ex-wives and their ex-fiancés or whatever, and their baby mama drama, whatever that is. They still living with their mamas and all that stuff, and I don't have time for that. I don't have time for those kind of issues. I got my own problems. I got my own bills. I don't need your problems, and I don't need your bills. I mean, it is what it is. I don't need your drama to follow me. You and your family can go back to wherever you came from. Seriously.